Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vincent Gassa once more on Ponder. And today we are going to be starting a series, a series talking about Africa. The series has two titles. Actually, I'm confused. I'm not able to separate between the two titles. So I think either of the titles can go. The first one is Africa, the logical paradox. And the second one is Africa, the problem. And in this series, we are going to be examining some of the problems Africa is facing, and probably we're going to have suggestions as to how best we can address these issues. And now, before I get into the video proper, I'd like to apologize to the audience that for this video is going to be a little longer than usual, just the introductory video. For the other videos which are going to be coming up in the series, they're going to be the regular time, 5 minutes, 4 5 minutes, but then this one is going to be a little longer because it's an introductory video. And then okay, I think we can get started now. We all know about Africa, or there are a lot of people who may not even know about Africa, but then there's an idea that of Africa, a prevailing idea in the West, that Africa is a place of, they still have the concept of the dark continent. Africa is a dark continent. First of all, you have blacks on the continent. I just imagine a dark continent, a continent full of forests, full of bushes. People are living with wild animals, and actually, sometimes it's quite surprising that in the 21st century, people still ask that question. It's surprising that you find an African in Europe and you're asking this person if these people live on trees. Come on, if that guy was living in a tree, how did he travel to come to your country? That aside, Africa is a great continent. Africa has a lot of potential, and I dare say that Africa is the continent with the highest potential globally currently. Africa has the most youthful population. Africa, actually, a population of about 1.2, 1.3 billion individuals. Africa is the wealthiest continent with a lot of resources, mineral resources, and all sort of resources, timber and every other thing. A lot of people know. You can go on Google and find out, search for yourself. Africa also has people, highly educated people. It has a great wealth of academia. It is rich with academia. You have a lot of people, both past, present, and there's going to be more in the future. People of the past, you have people like Kwame Nkrumah, Thomas Sankara, Sekou Touré of Guinea. Kwame Nkrumah is from Ghana, by the way. Thomas Sankara is from Burkina Faso. You have modern people who just passed away recently. You have people like Nelson Mandela. You have people like the former Secretary General, may he so rest in peace, Kofi Annan, still from Ghana. You had people like Solomon Tandem Mona from Cameroon. And today we have people like Ori Okolo. You have people like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie from Nigeria. There's a lot of these people. Africa is a very great continent. You have great cities, you have very beautiful cities, you have very beautiful countries, beautiful landscapes. You have so much in Africa. But yet, the image that Africa has worldwide is an image of constant war, constant poverty, starvation, conflict, genocide, just to name a few. And it's not like these things aren't also present. Yes, they are present, but it's not like everywhere is like that, or that's the only thing Africa has to offer. Now, getting proper into the title, Africa, the logical paradox. Why did I choose this title? Because it's quite ironical that the continent which we boast of, it's not just a boast, it's actually the truth. The continent which is the wealthiest continent on the planet is actually full of the poorest people. It is ironical, it's a paradox, but then it's logical. There's a reason to that. There's a reason to why it is like that. And I'll try to, this video is an attempt to get into the details of this. Now, I would like to go back to the colonial days, pre-colonial period. In the Berlin West African Conference, during the period when the European powers were scrambling for Africa, you had what you call the scramble for Africa. All of them were scrambling for Africa to get resources to feed their growing and expanding industries and population. You actually had a conference which was organized by the German Chancellor at the time, Otto von Bismarck, which ran from November of 1884 to January 1885, if my memory serves me right. And what happened was that the map of Africa, the map at the time was placed on a table. You have the European powers sitting around that table, and these people actually just divided Africa, just divided the map like as though they were sharing a cake, distributing a cake. And this did not take into account ethnic boundaries, socio-economic boundaries, or socio-political boundaries. People were just put together who did not live together before, and some people who lived together were separated. So you have a situation whereby there's a lot of conflict. Why? Because naturally speaking, human beings like to associate themselves with those with whom they are close. If you travel to a foreign country, for example, you see that foreigners from similar countries try to put themselves into groups. It's natural. It's a natural human thing. It's natural. You get close to that with which you're similar. But then the problem with this is that Africa has taken it, or Africans have taken this to another level. Now, because people, for example, you have a country where you have like major tribal groups, because Africa is the most diversified continent, by the way. You have three major tribal groups, and then these groups were not together before. Now there's an internal conflict. And Africa can be dubbed somewhat the most racist continent because they have a lot of tribalism. People acting not based on meritocracy, but people are just doing things because this person is from my tribe, from my family. You're from one tribe, and you cannot get married to another person from another tribe, which is crazy, and which should not be the case. So really, this is a major problem. Now we can blame our colonial masters for this problem. Yeah, we can keep on blaming them. But then when we fight together, we fight and kill and destroy ourselves to our own detriment and to the merit of the people whom we blame. That's the Western powers, which is not good. Now the problem. What I think is that the problem is no longer the foundations may have been laid by the colonial masters, but the problem is now ours. We are now building upon this foundation, which is very wrong. Now, when you come and you encourage tribalism, you encourage nepotism and undue favoritism, it's not good. You have Africa as a continent where you have very intelligent people who are very educated. They come into their countries, they are not willing to contribute politically. They don't want to join politics, they don't want to assist politically. And then they now give the way for those who are uneducated and have no brains or no good intentions for the country to come into politics because there's nobody there to stand against them. And then these people who are educated vote in people who are uneducated and unqualified, and then you come and complain when these people who are unqualified cannot give you good results. I mean, it doesn't make sense. You should not complain. If you're going to vote in someone into power who is uneducated, you shouldn't expect anything other than the result of an illiterate. There's no point in complaining. We complain so much about corruption, but yet during an election period, people are giving you money to vote, and you're taking money from these people and voting in this whichever candidate you're voting for, and then at the end of the day you come and complain. Do not complain. So the problem is now our problem. We are the problem. Africans are the problem. And the solution to this is that we have to forget about racial and tribal boundaries. These racial and tribal boundaries are the reason for the Rwandan genocide, and you see Rwanda is still recovering from it, are the reason for the issues of Biafra which are happening in Nigeria, and they are the issues of the Anglophone problem or Ambazonia issue which is happening in Cameroon. So we have to collectively think, forget about the tribal issues. They have been established. We have the issue of diversification. What do you do about it? If everybody, each individual decides to forget about this person being from another tribe and try to work with the other person, if you see that this person has a good idea, please try to support the person if you can. If this person merits a position, give it to this person. We have a saying in Cameroon that says that if everyone should sweep just their courtyard, the whole street is going to be clean. So if everybody decides to just bring about the change they can, the little change they can, if everybody is doing this, then the society will change. That is the general solution to the African problem. That would be the solution to the logical paradox, which has been preached by our forefathers from time immemorial. So this is what the series is going to be about. Once more, apologies for the long video, and please, if you like the video, hit the like button. Let us know your comments, let us know your thoughts, let us know suggestions as to the issues which we can discuss, for it is a problem. Africa is the continent with the greatest potential, and if we are truly ever to get to the ideal which our good leaders of the past and of the present and of the future have for us, then we must learn to turn our backs to the dividing factors and focus all our energies on the uniting factors. See you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great evening. Goodbye from Ponder.